Yo, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning market report. We got a lot of green here on the daily right now, but if we move this over to the hourly, we are seeing quite a bit of red popping up. We got the NASDAQ, the Dow, the S&P all opening up in the red right now. We did get a little bit of economic data this morning, the trade balance, and we're going to look at that. What does that mean for the economy? And what else is coming up this week? Bitcoin getting a rally, moving to the upside. Looking at the chart here, guys, you can see there it is, Eric Wallen, my favorite chart. We are coming into the top of the trade range. That would be the previous all-time high. And we're going to look at some other resistance that we're coming into right now. What are those levels? Can we make it through it? Is the economic data this week going to push us to the downside, or are we heading for higher highs, guys? We're going to break all that down and a whole lot more today on the Morning Market Report right here on Piper Academy, guys. Let's get it. Class is in session. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. I'm glad to have everybody here. Let's give a shout out to the chat real fast. We got a username in here. He said, I'm extremely happy to see Piper with the rocket ship and his mouth wide open. I did that thumbnail just for my wide open people out there in the alumni. I told Buck is here in the studio with me right now while we're live. So I told him I was doing an open mouth thumbnail this morning. So he's out here helping me set up a helium miner. And yeah, we might bring him on the show later on today. But shout out to username, shout out to Kyle Fields, shout out to Harp, Trade Intuition, T.I. Joe in the house, and then Eric Wallen in here, Indie Rock, Crypto, Lasers, Max H, and yeah, a lot more. But if you're in here, drop a chat, drop a comment, and hit that like button, hit that subscribe. I see Crypto Billy in the house. Billy Goat Tells, hashtag givers gain. But you know who else I got here? I got the best co-host in the biz. It's the OC guy. What is up, bro? How you doing, man? What are you doing? And how are you feeling about these markets? Hey, you're muted. It's an 80s sitcom. Let's go.
Oh man, it had to do. Oh man. Oh, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty stoked. For some reason, I'm pretty low today. But yeah, the thing is that man, Buck caught me off guard. Like what? So very nice to meet him. He took your place where you were away.
Yeah.
So I thought he was gonna do the show.
I found
But
out he could pass for me if you blur the screen a little bit. He could pass for a younger version of me, bald and ugly, just like me. So there you go. Let's go ahead. What do you think about these markets? And bring Buck on. Max H said, "Tell Buck I say hi." We will. We'll bring him on today. What do you think about this pump? And is it sustainable? I want to hear your thoughts on that. I've got some mixed emotions about it. I'm very confused. I'm almost like my wife at picking dinner right now. I'm very tossed and torn between two options. But what do you think?
Well, I got you a surprise, but guess which one is it, right? That's the trick. So the thing is, I'm pretty pumped about this movement. I'm not gonna be lying to you at this point. We finally broke through a break to a trend line, a very important trend line. It is a multi-candle breakthrough. It has been pushing nonstop, but I want to see that retrace. We already have taken the previous high, and also let's just call it also the previous high, but we still need three more to go. So I've seen this before. We are at the top of the oscillator. We are at a resistance. I mean, it's time to get excited. I would say yes, but it's time also to be careful. Also yes. I did saw a TikTok yesterday. I posted it to Piper Academy News, where they made a comparison that I did not thought about that process before, but it just makes so much more sense. In which they compare the halving versus the elections, and they make it seem like the elections are kind of like a holding area or a pulse area for the markets. It
It is.
seems
It
like
is.
we're
It's
doing
it's
exactly that.
markets don't like unknowns, So when you have
Exactly.
unknown
Yes.
things coming up, and especially like elections, then you get that period of uncertainty, and people just want to protect and not. They want to wait and see. Positive ID on their target, PID, we call it in the military. So that's what they're doing right now. Eric Wall said Bitcoin's just doing what it's always does, and you're shocked. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. I'm actually shocked. It's actually you're actually Eric Wallen. You're wrong. Bitcoin does not usually pull back that far that long right after a halving. So it isn't doing what it always does. I'm shocked that we went as far down and it took as long to get back to this level as it did. That would be the shock. What I'm shocked about though is that Bitcoin broke through some critical areas while we had altcoins not really doing a whole lot. Altcoins, it took them a while to start moving, but we might look at altcoin season stuff today too. There was a post on X about that. So let's go ahead and jump into the news, OC. I want to talk about several articles today. We got economic data, and I'm going to keep an eye over here on CNBC Pro to see if we get any market movement on the market open. Because right now, like I said, guys, Dow is down 0.46% right now. Gold is up 0.51%. The S&P is down 0.3% right now, about 0.35. And then NASDAQ is down 0.25% right now, all while gold is hitting about $2,769. That typically would indicate uncertainty in the markets, right? What we were just talking about with the elections. So people are moving to the safe haven, gold. So that's what we're going to watch there. But let's go ahead and jump over to the news, and we will talk about what I'm seeing over there and some articles of interest that I have. So, guys, jumping into the news today, looking here, we got the Fear and Greed Index. Fear is currently sitting, Fear and Greed is currently sitting at 61 right now. Yesterday was at 61. Also, last week was at 67. We're still sitting in greed, but that total market cap is now up to $2.5 trillion. Let's go, up 3%. We're getting volume. I tell you guys, when I see the market cap come up, I want to see strong volume. Volume is up 61.8% in the past 24 hours. And Bitcoin dominance, we know that's a lie. Let me bring this up here and see what that is saying on my actual Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is at 59.75 right now, closing in on that 60% mark. Let's jump into the crypto bubbles. Take a look at that right now. Green. We are starting to turn around green right now. And I'm watching as the Dow. It looks like the Dow and the stock markets are starting to flip back to green. Let me see what the NASDAQ's doing. Give me 1 second here, and I'll tell you. NASDAQ, yeah, the NASDAQ's moving. Everything's moving in the upward direction now after the market open pullback. So looking here, though, on the daily, I want to take a look here. SUI up 16.2% on the 24-hour. Hex, garbage, pulled up 15.1%. Doge, I have an article about Doge. Shout out to FD White. Always talking about that, up 13.2%. What else? Pendle is up 12.8%. And yeah, that's about the big movers. Let's jump down here to the price and see how that's looking. Bitcoin currently sitting at 71,404, up 3.1% on the daily. Ethereum at 2625, up 3.7 on the daily. We got Solana up to $179. It's only up 1.2%. But I do think, like I said, if we continue on with the Bitcoin, we get into a consolidation period. It looks like on the total too, we're about to get a golden cross, and that golden cross could equate to altcoin season. So shout out to Crux of Crypto in the chat right now, and Retro Mike Tech, Cast doing what Cast does and going to zero. Shout out to you, my man. I am not wearing my Cast hat today. I'm wearing Chainlink. $800 Chainlink. Here we go. Let's get it. XRP is sitting up 1% right now at 52 cents. Being a good little stable coin, XRP. I'm proud of you. Doge, like I said, guys, up 13.2%, sitting at 16.8 cents. Toncoin up 1.2, Tron's up 0.3. What else we got here in the top 10? Oh, look, Cardano. It's moved out of stablecoin status. It's now up 2.3%, sitting at 34.8 cents. Avalanche at 1.7% up. Bitcoin Cash, we talked about Bitcoin Cash, BSV, both probably would do decent, up 5.3%. Chainlink up 3.4%. Shout out to the Link Marines out there. And then SUI, yeah, 16.3%. It moved up 3 positions up to number 18, now sitting back in the top 20. Where's Caspa? Caspa, where you at? Down 4.5% on the daily at 11.5 cents. Guys, I told you, 10-cent Caspa likely coming to a chart near you. Let's go over the economic data here. We did get this goods trade balance here, $108.23 billion to the downside, was previously down 94.2. They expected it to be about 93 to 96 billion. Absolutely crushing that number. I had ChatGPT explain a few things. I had ChatGPT go through a few things here for me. Sorry, my dog's barking out there. My dog's barking. I had to have the door closed so that you don't hear Gypsy. She's loud. I said, "Hey, can you explain all of this and put this into what does this mean for the markets? The sharp widening of the U.S. trade deficit to $108.2 billion in September reflects multiple economic dynamics and broader implications. So let's talk about this. Rising imports, an increase in imports can put pressure on domestic industry, and that compete with cheaper and more readily available foreign goods, potentially slowing job growth in sectors that lose out on imported goods. So there's some job number effect. Declining exports, lower exports can hurt U.S. manufacturing sector. And I showed you guys manufacturing jobs already down. So here I am, Piper Bear coming into to play here, guys, potentially resulting in lower investment and hiring, and over time can weaken economic growth. Export declines are often worrisome because they indicate weaker competitive or demand in global markets. However, let's pause there for a second because I think this next one is actually what's happening here. It is the dollar strength, the Dixie strength right now. So, with more, it says the widening trade deficit tends to put downward pressure on the dollar. However, if the dollar remains strong, it could further discourage exports by making U.S. goods less competitive overseas. You got to remember, if people want to buy U.S. goods, they've got to convert to the U.S. dollar. If the U.S. dollar is strong as hell, like it is right now, and it keeps going up, guess what happens? It costs them more money to buy with their currency into the U.S. dollar to get U.S. goods, which would create a trade deficit. So I do believe, and I would prefer to think that this is actually what's happening, that we're not getting this economic crunch happening, but it's because of the dollar strength. So overall economic health, while the deficit doesn't necessarily signal a recession, a persistently high trade gap could drag on GDP, as net exports are a component of economic growth calculations. Policymakers may feel increased pressure to boost domestic industry or reevaluate trade policies, especially if the deficit continues. Now, I want to jump over to the duo cam real fast, and I'll come back and finish the news, because the one thing that I do think is happening here is we're seeing a lot of people that are finding alternate ways to get goods instead of from the US, because I think that a lot of people are leaning towards Donald Trump winning the election. And what does Donald Trump want to do? He wants to put on tariffs. That would mean that people have to look elsewhere to they don't want to get into that tariff game because that makes things very expensive for other countries and for US, honestly. But I think right now we got the tariff scare. People are just looking for alternate ways to get their goods, and then we've got this super strong. We got this super strong dollar right now in comparison to the rest of the currencies out there. That is making it more expensive for people to do it. So they're just like, I'll find it elsewhere. Shout out to Tradefly dropping a super chat, $2 super chat. He said, "Crypto Nightcap, #1 show on Piper Academy." I hear you, bro. I hear you. I feel you, and I love you, and I am not afraid to let that be the case. So let's jump back over to the news, but first, OC. We hear. I've been all over the world. I've been in Afghanistan, Kuwait. I've been in, Europe. I've been in South Korea. I've, all over. The one thing that I have always seen is that if you're going anywhere to buy anything, they will ask you to pay in the U.S. dollar. They want the dollar over their own currency. Is is that the case down in Mexico? Like, if you walked in with pesos or U.S. dollars, which one are they going to take out of your hand?
Well, that depends on where you're located. Like, for example, touristic areas, and this has shifted a lot since my childhood because, guys, I want you guys to remember that I was born in mainland, and then I moved to an island, right? What was a touristic area. On the touristic area, you always need to have U.S. dollars. Of course, you can pay with your peso or your currency, local currency, and then on mainland, you usually get requested your local currency. You do not get accepted with US dollar. But I mean, when you go to a restaurant, a well located restaurant, the history changes. It is very well received. And let me tell you this, if you go anywhere and you to a touristic place, right, somewhat touristic, and you bring US dollars, you're never gonna fail. Unless maybe France, I would say, because they have something with the US dollar, right? I don't know why, but please correct me if I'm wrong there. But other than that, that is absolutely the case. In fact, I mean, guys, you know that I trade. when I cash out in US dollars, especially on what the politics are moving right now here. And that is kind of like the main thing that happens not only in touristic places, but many other places that know their currency are being devalued. I mean, they're being cut in value, right? Like, for example, Argentina, remember? And then they cut out your ability to save in dollars. So what they do, they move something like Uphold, right? Guys, if you don't know Uphold, not a sponsor, just do a little bit of research there. And then they were able to save in digital gold, Argentinian peso, and many other assets, right? So that was amazing. And I think, point aside, I think Bitcoin is exactly what it's bringing to the table at this moment. That's why I think it's very, very important, and that's why I really like it. But yeah, you are right. U.S. dollar over our own currency because holds value better than our own in the open markets.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. Shout out to Eric Wallen. He said the Thai hookers want US dollars, huh, Piper? It's not Thai hookers, man. It's Russian juicy girls. Get it straight. If you know Korea, you know. Russian juicy girls. Let's go over and check out the rest of the news here, though, guys. Looking here, guys, 12 minutes, as Dusty Hunter said there. We have about 10 minutes now before this data comes out. This is the one we're going to be watching. It is Jolt's job openings. It's going to be out at 8 o'clock my time. It's going to be 10 a.m. on the East Coast. And right now, it looks like Jolt's job openings are going to be down. Guys, if we come in substantially lower than these numbers here in about 10 minutes, we are going to be looking at a market dump, in my opinion, because that is going to be a weakening sign of labor, which is a weakening sign of the economy, which is a strengthening sign of recession possibility. Guys, it's still not off the table. I keep telling you this. Let's jump over here and let's take a look at what happened here. This is the most, let's talk about the stock market. Let's talk about that because the stock market has continued to just absolutely crush it, all-time high after all-time high. The most resilient stock market in history, question mark, the S&P 500 has been above its 200-day moving average for 247 straight sessions, the third longest streak in 8 years. Previous two records were in 2016 to 2018 and then 2020 to 2021, which lasted for 430 and 400 days. So we are coming in very close on that right now with that 247. That would mean like the next 6 months really need to pump. We're going to talk about what does the next 6 months look like in the stock market, because that could give us a little indication of what the next 6 months looks like for crypto, for at least Bitcoin. There have been only 3 other occurrences since 2020 when the index rallied at least 39% year over year. That was in 2004, 2010, 2021. I want to point out those were all recovery periods. All recovery periods from recession. So it's almost like the stock market is picking up that we're already in recovery from a recession, even though nothing was ever officially announced. And I know some people in the chat are going to jump in there and talk about that they feel like we've been in a recession for a while. The only difference is we haven't had the weakening job numbers because I think, honestly, they've pumped it up with government jobs. So we'll see when that tide goes out, what does that look like? But yeah, that's what we have there on that. And then I think I had one more X marks the spot. No, we're not going to get into that. Let's talk about Bitcoin price. Bitcoin surges above $71,000 as wild crypto market pump sees $175 million in shorts liquidations. So if you guys were in a short, you probably got smacked with that one right there. Bitcoin added 5% in 24 hours, according to CoinGecko, breaking out of that $70,000 resistance. Where's it at? Bitcoin jumped over $71,000. It was Asian morning hours on Tuesday to lead a wider market move ahead, nearly a week ahead of the U.S. elections that traders largely consider a bullish catalyst for the market, regardless of who wins. We've talked about that. That's something that we've discussed here, that I don't really care who wins. I personally have, a care. I would much rather Orange Man bad win than communism. I mean, Kamala Harris, that's the name. But however, comma, pause for effect, overall, it doesn't really matter for the markets as long as we don't get a heavily weighed three-party system, three-branch system under one party. As long as that doesn't happen, we're good. The move led to over a $143 million in shorts there. But the big one that I wanted to point off here with that Bitcoin move was that Doge took off. Where's it at? Doge had a big move here, and is it even in this chart? No, it is not. It is in this chart. Nope, I guess I don't even have it on here. I took it off. Anyway, guys, Doge. Doge was on this article and they dropped it off there. It was an add-on at the bottom. But Doge getting a lot of movement off the election stuff that we're seeing there. And that election stuff is Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. It's now looking like Elon Musk has a 32% chance, according to the betting polls, of getting a job in the government on the cabinet for Donald Trump if he is elected. So 32% chance of that. Here we go. Let's talk about this. We got about 6 minutes before this data comes out. And this is what I was talking about on that breaking that trend and becoming the number one market days above the 200-day moving average for stock markets. The stock market's best 6-month period starts this week. I don't know what we've been going through for the past 6 months, past year, but the best period for the stock market starts this week. Next 6 months is supposed to be even better, especially for small caps. Never mind what has already been a strong 6 months for stocks. The market is about to embark on what is historically the best 6-month stretch for gains. Historically, the November to April period has seen stocks notch their highest average return, the greatest number of times going all the way back to World War II, according to the best 6 months thesis popularized by Stock Traders Almanac. The S&P 500 typically advances about 7% from November to April compared to the average of 2%. That's enough of the news. Let's jump over here. Let's talk about this with OC, and this data should be coming out in about 5 minutes. OC, I don't know about you, but I thought we already had a great stock market for the past 6 months, an amazing stock market. But they're talking the best period is coming up still. We haven't even gotten there yet for the stock market. What does the next 6 months look like for Bitcoin if that is what's going on with S&P for the next 6 months? I'd like to hear your input. Then we'll get into the Bitcoin chart real fast view and then head out to the data.
Absolutely. I mean, what I think that if the S&P is doing great, I think that will encourage traders to risk on. And that for me, it is a game on for Bitcoin. I think we're going to the moon if that is the case. Still, I mean, we need to be very careful. We've talked about this in the past, like how we're going to be playing the game, the game right now, right? Are we going to be following what the crumbling markets, or are we going to be following whatever is being told to us, right? We kind of like agree to follow the game based on what we've been told to, because that's a medium short reaction, but being very, very careful, understanding that we're not healthy on the economy. But if we see that, I would say soft landing, and then we took off with something unexpected, as it's being kind of like a proposed here, I'm all for it. I mean, let's do it. I mean, I'm all for it. That will make me win a little bit more of extra bucks in there, and then also positioning myself right now as we are starting to move. So yeah, that's what I think. I think that's going to be a wonderful movement for Bitcoin if S&P makes its move to the upside.
Awesome. Let's jump over to the Bitcoin chart. Then we're going to take a quick snapshot of this. We're going to come back and do some heavier TA, but I don't want to miss those JOLTS job openings. They're going to be critical for what's going on in markets today. We are getting a return here. We had pulled back quite a bit here on Bitcoin on the 4-hour. That wick there now pulled all the way back up and into the positive side. I'm still heartbroken that I missed my entry right there by 1 cent. I knew that was the spot to get in, damn it. Real fast though, guys. On the 4-hour, we are starting to see a little bit of sell-off there. True 7 has clipped and is now coming down. We do have the pink turning here on the oscillator ribbon, which typically leads to small pullbacks. Where could that pullback be, guys? I'm going to look here at about 69,900. Why? It's a daily close. Ironically enough, if we take a look at that level, that's 69.9. Let's get that on there. There we go. And let's throw a horizontal line, go back and look in history. Back in time. It's right about the period of our last all-time high in 2021. So that's what I'm watching there on that for the levels below us. The levels that are sitting right above us, and I talked about this at the beginning. Let's go over here and let's bring in this level right here. You can see we've got a nice little level right there that we're sitting at. That was a lot of rejection points here, a lot of play on this level. That is going to be at 71,900. That is right above our current level on Bitcoin. So if we get above this, We do have a resistance here on the Market Dynamics Pro. You can see that we do have a nice rising channel coming on here. That's sitting right above it. If we can get off a rejection off that and then get a bounce on that level, which would be the all-time high support now, because right now it's resistance, and get that bounce, then I would be looking at higher upside. And we're looking at $72,000 being a key level. I'll show you where that liquidity is at, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But we are now getting this data. Let's jump over to the news setup. There we go. OC, join me on screen. There we go. And let's go take a look and see what this data is coming in as. Right now, we're about 30 seconds away from it. Let's give this a refresh. Getting this JOLTS job up. Remember, guys, we want to see at these numbers or higher. If these come in lower right here, 7.99 million, 7.8 million, if we come in way under that, we're probably going to get some sharp pullbacks on the markets instantly. So that is what we're watching. 7.443, that is significantly lower. And it looks like we just got a revision here. Let's go take a look and see what's going on here. Job markets decreased to 7.4 million in September, the 7.8 million in August. Job offers averaged 5.3 million from 2000 to 2024. So reaching an all-time high of 12.1 million in March 2022, the record low of 22.3 thousand was in 2009. So that is according to that. Let's go over to the chart and let's take a look and see what we're seeing here now. Let's go. Looks like on the hourly, let's go see how the markets are reacting to this. We are getting a little pullback here on Bitcoin, small little pullback, but it looks like the NASDAQ is actually playing this up to the upside. So let me see it. Let me just get the data here. The VIX is up, which it makes sense because people are trading the volatility. That's a volatility index, if you don't know. But it looks like the NASDAQ is coming up. We're getting the breaking news report here. Breaking news. Yeah, it looks like the markets are going to rally on this maybe. So, OC, I want to talk about this liquidation level that I have, and then I want to come back to you and see what you're seeing on the Bitcoin chart. Maybe bring it down into some lower time frame because, guys, the level that we're watching here on the 48-hour liquidation heat map is coming in at about $72,000. I just want to show you something. That's a 48-hour. We do have a hot spot down here below us at about 68, and that wouldn't be horrible if we had a $5,000 pullback. But just be aware that there is a big hot spot down there of liquidity. But let's go take a look at this on the 1 year. I want to take a look at this because if we put this on the 1 year, we don't have a hot spot below us until about $45,000. I don't think we're going to go that low, and I'll show you why on the big chart here in a little bit. If you look here at the 1 year, though, our hotspot's 72,000 and above. We have a very dark area here on the yearly below us that I don't think we're going to go revisit any of that stuff. I mean, the low side would be like $50,000. Very unlikely that we're going to go all of that way to hit liquidity below 49,000. Much more likely that they're going to just pump in and grab all this liquidity above us starting at $72,200. OC, let's jump over to your chart and let's see what you're seeing on there on the lower time frame for Bitcoin. But right now, it looks like, yeah, we had worse job numbers, which I had already expected that. And maybe like me, a lot of the market investors had already baked that into the price. They already knew that those job numbers last month were way off. And so we're seeing these job numbers. We're seeing these job numbers coming in what people expected, and they've already baked it all in. So, OC, let's go kick it over to your chart and see what you're seeing.
Absolutely. So right here, let's just take a look at Bitcoin. We have a previous analysis in here for a breakout retest, right? So it seems like instead of having it all the way here, we're having it right there. So breakout retest. Let me just clear this up a little bit. Let's even go to a cleaner chart here because this was meant to be to look at the 4 hours. Very quick before I move on. Well, liquidations, guys. This is all of the lines that we have on screen at this point. Look at the brightest area, the brightest spot. They are aiming at the previous, as I mentioned, 1, 2, and 3 higher highs, right? So maybe these two together, and maybe this one and this other one. So basically, we're aiming at a possibility of 74,800 if we can have that, keep that momentum. Let's take a look at some cleaner chart here, and let's go to a 4 hour. To a 15 minutes. Something like that I want to show you guys. This was my previous prediction, right? I remember that going farther down and then having that double bottom and onto that double bottom on this trend line. Well, then keep moving upwards. Seems like this part just got reduced, and then instead of that double bottom being playing out there, it played out right here, right? A little bit higher of what I was expecting. Not into this trend line, but into the dynamic reactor, and then we are moving. In fact, you can see that is matching perfectly from the bounce to the top, right? So let's go to the 15 minutes very quickly and see what I'm seeing at this point. Oh yeah, nice. So at this point, I would ask you guys something like when we're looking at liquidations, why would it be easier for the market makers, right? And I would be saying moving it to where to the downside, where we have a big gap, or keep pushing it to the upside to have a further movement to the upside. Well, I would say that push it to the upside, right? Another thing that I usually look for it is this short liquidity zones. That is because this might not be worth it, and then maybe just leaving or not keep pushing it to the upside, and that will get us a retracement. Retracement in which point at this I'm looking at
AOC.
70. Yep.
Real fast as you continue that on, guys, we're about 0.01% away from the stock market, S&P and the Dow both flipping into the green. Markets are completely flipping around right now. So,
Oh, nice. I got it right here, but we'll take a look at that one. Well, possible retracement somewhere around 70K 820, which was going to be, I would say, a big area of support, not only because it is the base of this possible range, but also because we had a big order being taken right at that area. Let me just turn on my indicators here very quickly, and also we'll see that we have a big body of volume right here, which we are expecting to range within that area. Let me just clear this up very quickly. I think it's much more clean and clear. And the S&P 500 you were talking about, that we are retracing and turning around. So it seems like exactly that. We are just, oh, come on, this thing. All right, perfect. We are having a bounce right under the delta area right here on this liquidity zone, and then we're coming back up. We had the bottom of the oscillator. So let me throw it back to you, Piper, to see what you are also seeing on those charts.
yeah, so we got a little pump up there. We just wicked up. Shout out to all of my people that love the word literally to the line that I have there for resistance. That's at 71,984. It's coming off of those previous areas of highs back here, guys. This little area right there, that is where we're getting a little rejection. I think we're going to continue up, though. I think we're going to rally this even higher. One thing that I'm seeing here on the hourly is if we take a look at the Oscillator Pro, plus, right there, we are getting the transition ribbon starting to come back into play. Let's go ahead and throw this onto my side-by-side just to see what this is looking like. And I want to take this to higher time frames. Let me get this locked into place. There we go. And yeah, now we're moving in sync. There we go. We are, be advised, on the daily, we are hitting a resistance area on my left chart, okay? We do have some upside movement. Watch for this on this right side, though. We are coming in on the daily Bollinger Band top here, and we're starting to get orange here on the heat map of the RSI primed. I would say that we go a little bit higher, and that would be in that $72,000 range. Why do I think that that's relevant? I just showed this to you guys. That's the heat map here on the yearly. It's about $72,200. That's the area that I'm watching for the most likely rejection point, 72.2. At that point, I might set up a tight stop loss for a short entry based on what I'm seeing here, because that would be, again, right here in line with the RSI Prime, maxing out on its top ranges here that it likes to hit onto, which is about 81, 82%. We're currently at about 75.5%. That would also put us up here back in line for the higher Oscillator Pro ribbon. I do think that we're going to continue to the upside, though, because right there, you see that? Let me bring this into a little bit more focus. That is the money flow index, and the money flow index is taking a sharp turn up, and it does look like the volume matrix is continuing to make waves higher, possibly giving us another higher wave on the volume itself. So things are looking pretty bullish for me right now on Bitcoin, and that's why you got an O-face thumbnail. Shout out to Retro Mike Tech. So Bitcoin looking pretty good right now, but of course, like I was saying, we do have to watch for that rejection point. How much of a rejection we get in there, guys? That was a very, very key area that we just hit. Watch for us to come down and bounce right here. This trend line, let me bring this back into an isolated focus here. This trend line here is well, it was of shape, but I want to show you what it is on the hourly. This trend line here is a bottoming formation of the flag. So if we bring this in, put that there, watch for us to come and mark up on that bottom there. And let me extend that to the left just to see what we have on it. Extend it to the left and to the right. Let's go back and see. Yeah, that's actually a really interesting area of support all the way back through there. So that is where we're flagging at. That's why I would watch for that at that bottom side's coming in at about 71,000. So if we do retrace back down, 71K would be the area for the bounce that I'm watching for. If we get a reversal here on this 1 hour candle and we break through that, then I'm looking at 72.2. And that's what I'm watching on charts there, OC. Bitcoin is looking good. Literally, we do need a emoji for literally. I'm going to have to figure something out. I'll literally figure something out this week, maybe. Guys, that's what I'm watching on Bitcoin. OC, what are you looking at on altcoins? Let's jump over to your chart. Let's take a look at some alts. The Dow is now in the green. The S&P just under. It's 0.04% in the red. NASDAQ and the Dow broke into the green on that jobs data that I think was honestly baked in. Shout out to Massey33 in the chat. Let's go. And if you guys haven't done so yet, make sure you go and you smash that like button and hit that notification bell if you guys are getting any quality content here today on the Piper Academy Show. OC, over to your charts. What do you got for me, bro?
Absolutely. Just today in the morning, we have a crossover Litecoin and also OM. So I've been looking at OM. So since I would say the 24th, somewhere around here. So let's take a look at OM. I think it's going to be a very interesting peaking here. So we were expecting it to start moving forward to the upside. Although let's go to the 4 hours because that was my analysis. There we go. And then not only start moving to the upside, but also we had a possible head and shoulders confirmation in here. So remember that we were predicting this area right up here, and then we already had a support right down here, which means that we are confirming a dead cat bounce to this area here, and then we went back all the way back down here to this area of support. What's up next at this point? Well, just waiting at this point. And why would we be waiting at this point? Because we are basically just seeing what the price is going to be going to. At this point, if we just look at where we are at now, and we draw these lines, we could see that we are basically at the center of what is left of the formation. And we don't want to be there because that is giving us 50-50 or somewhere like that. And that is too much of a risk, right? I want to see the odds on my favor and not just a flip of a coin. What would that be? Well, the first thing I'm going to be looking at my oscillator right here. We have a sharp flip of the previous here. We're holding the zero line, which is amazing. And that's exactly what I want to see. And then I want to see the actual ribbon flipping. If you have plus, it's time for you to start adding your oscillator. Let me go into my invite only scripts. Add the what is it? The Oracle, sorry, the Prime Oscillator plus in here. And what I'm going to be using it for, it is looking at my money flow. So my money flow is red. Of course, it's red, but I want to see it flipping back above the zero line in here. Also, what I want to see is volume rushing back up a little bit before moving downwards. That will give me enough momentum to at least reach this next resistance. So if you're looking for a possible entry, I would short the top and long the bottom. Other than that, I will not be trading the inside of this triangle because this could be doing just basically chop city, right? So other than that, I mean, I don't think that that's going to be it for me. So OM looking interesting for a possible entry. And also Litecoin played out exactly as we were expecting. We are hitting targets at this point. I was too late for this entry on the 4 hours, so I did not took it. Just so you guys are aware of this, I took this V-shaped recovery right here and took profits down right here. As it went back down at this point, I did not re-enter. So I missed the second moving here. Hopefully you did, guys. Caught it. We are almost at the top. We're flipping off the ribbon. But that is not it. Something interesting is that the money flow is kind of like a teasing to bring back up some influx of money. So by looking at our oscillator, we need to stay above the zero line and going for that maybe early retesting here or pullback, and that will be your next entry for a long position. Other than that, it's time for me to start cleaning my charts up. So turning it back to you, Piper.
Yeah, I'm sitting here watching the 10-year yield, guys. Shout out to Lunar Beaches in the chat. He said $49,000 Bitcoin invalidated, literally. It is still a hot spot, 49,000, but I don't think we're going to head down there. I'm going to end the show today looking at my long-term master Bitcoin chart, and I'll show you guys why I don't think that is a thing at all anymore. Was I wrong on that one? Sure. But I've been right about 99%. Don't remember that 1%. Just let it fade away. Guys, let's talk about the total three. And let's talk about altcoin season, because I think that's, everyone wants to know when alt season, right? That's where the real money gets made. You make a lot of money on Bitcoin, but you make amazing money when those alts start to move. Let's take a look at what we're seeing on there. So first off, let's turn on the moving average ribbons. Go into the settings here. I've turned off the 300 and the 100. Why? Because it's the daily simple moving average of the 50 and the 200 for a bullish cross, the golden cross, if you will. So what I'm watching here on the total three is the entire market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's the alts, right? There's nothing else in there to match it up. There's nothing in convoluting the data, right? It's just the altcoins that we're looking at. So looking at this on the 50 and the that's the green line, and the 200, which is the orange line, we do have a cross coming up. When could that be? I'm looking at a daily chart here. Let's go ahead and throw on the extensions here from a couple of trend lines. I just carried them on out. Guys, we're looking here at about November 3rd, second to the 3rd, which is right before the election. That would be the weekend before elections. This very likely is going to take place, if this happens, after the 5th of November. What I could see happening is this. We have a nice run in with the elections. Orange man takes it. Orange line continues to drop. Green line continues to go up. And then after the 5th, the alts start to absolutely rally. Oh, man, dude, shout out to Blockchain Crusader in the house. What's up, Miguel? How you doing, bro? We need to get you back on here again soon. It is good to see you in the chat. Miss having you around, bro. But yeah, I'm going to be watching for that golden cross to happen sometime around the elections. It's going to be really dependent. And remember, guys, ultimately, it doesn't really matter who wins as long as we don't get one party controlling all three branches. Investors don't like it when somebody has the power to pass whatever they want to pass, whether it be Republican or conservative. However, the markets are calculating in election outcome, and I want to talk about this real fast before we move on. Do I have it in here? Man, why? I saw so many good articles today that are just not popping up for me. Okay, anyway, I must have read it and don't have it, but what they were talking about was that in the short term of the election window, that if Trump wins, they believe there will be a rally in the markets, short-term rally. If Kamala Harris wins, there will be a short-term sell-off in the markets. And so right now, if we get Trump, if Orange Man wins the elections, we very likely will see a continuation to the upside, and that will kick in right around that time period on that total two that I was just looking at there, where we have the golden cross happening, and that will be the alt season kickoff. So yeah, I'll send you an invite for sure. Shout out to Alex O Crypto in the house. He said, let's effing go, Otter. Shout out to you, Otter. Alex O Crypto, man, always blessing to have family here in the house with us. Oh, see, let's kick it over to you. Let's see what you're looking at. S&P still holding 0.03% on the red side, but the Dow and the NASDAQ are trying to fight up. I want to see what else you're seeing on some alts, and I'm going to come back and we're going to go over the Bitcoin master chart, and we'll see where we are over time on that. Shout out to CVO Crypto also in the house, man. Dude, we got all of the bros coming in today. I love it. Let's get over to your chart, OC, and see what you got there. Shout out CVO Crypto, man.
Absolutely. So, guys, now that we're seeing Bitcoin trying to push out and break out, well, we already have a confirmed breakout, right? We're ready for the breakout retest. So, while we're waiting for that, I think it's time to start looking at that giant, right? We called Ethereum. So, split your view, one eye to Bitcoin, one eye to Ethereum. I think that will be good for your health. But more importantly, we're going to be started looking and taking the pulse on it. Well, remember that I've talked about when we were talking whether we should be selling Solana or Ethereum for Solana, and I mentioned I think that's a mistake. I stand by it, and why? Because when Ethereum move, I think it's gonna be an explosive move. So at this point, we're seeing some contraction in here, so higher highs, sorry, higher lows, as well as some higher highs. Right at this point, that is a definition of an uptrend. I would not be considering this exactly an uptrend, but most likely something like a triangle or as a range, kind of like an uptrending range at this point. And yes, despite we are at the top of it right here, something important is that we don't lose the zero line. When we start not losing the zero line and then start bouncing off the dynamic reactor, I think we're going to be having that possibility to start breaking through this trend line in here. In fact, just so you see it, me doing it live, I'm going to be setting up an alarm at 2,784. Why that number? It's just the area, right? Just remember that whatever you're looking at, just the area. In fact, just so you know that it's just the area, I'm just going to kind of like randomly reprice it just to be on that possibility of a breakout, right? Once again, at this point, end up being 2,800 almost sharp. That's going to be what I'm going to be looking at for a breakout. And for positioning myself, I'm going to be looking at the dynamic reactor right down here, somewhere around 2,500 or 2,600. Let me see, 2,585. And finally, I'm not going to be buying at this point unless I have flip of the ribbon to the upside, all right? The next thing I'm going to be looking at, it is the money flow. Let me zoom into the money flow in here. Sorry for that. Just new peripherals here, so I'm getting used to this thing. So what I want to see is the money flow start rushing up, kind of like we did in here, but with that breakout. So we already have the volume kind of like I start pushing it up. Something that I don't like is that we already have some bright spots. Usually those bright spots indicates that the top is either close to B or it's already in, right? So we need to start hitting the top and then holding that zero line in here. So that's what I'm doing at this point with Ethereum. Keeping the pulse on it. Starts looking a little bit better. Still, for me, it's not time to enter in here, but start looking for allocation positioning. That's what I'm seeing on Ethereum. Piper, let me try it back to you.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking at Doge here. We had a request for Doge in the chat, and we talked about it on the intro a little bit, guys. Right now, we are running up into the golden pocket here. That's the 0.618 to the 0.66. That is about 17.2 cents. If you guys remember, if you guys are in our trade group, in our Discord, I talked about a 13-cent entry on Doge. That level, guys, was the 200-day simple moving average. That is the wick down right there. Hit it. It went down to about 12.78 cents. 13-cent entry would have set you up for all of this right there. But what I'm watching right now is that we did get a downtrend print on the Oscillator Pro Plus, and we do have the red ribbon turning in here. We could get a little bit of a pullback on this, but I'm still quite bullish on it. Why? Because on the 4-hour, my money flow is green. My trade volume has started to absolutely pump up, and there's a lot of bullish sentiment around Doge right now in the marketplace due to Elon Musk and the Department of Governmental Efficiency. So Arsan wants to see Clean Spark. I'll get to that in 1 second also. I am watching though, 17.5 cents we'll call it. It's going to be a nice range there for some possible rejection. Go back here and take a look. Golden Pocket played out before right there too. That's going to be the deciding factors. If we can break through that, get support in that golden pocket and continue to the upside down here, then I would be even more bullish on Doge. But right now, I have to identify that there is a point of resistance here in the golden pocket, previous area here. Grab some liquidity, head back down. Keep an eye on that for Doge. Let's jump over to Clean Spark. And oh, there was one more thing on there that I wanted to talk about. Another one too here is the Market Dynamics Pro, guys. We did have a breakout of this chart pattern. The smart target put it right there for the target, and we've hit that. So that has already been played out also. So let's go over and check out CleanSpark. That is a Bitcoin mining stock. Right now, we're fighting the 100 and the golden pocket. Look at that perfect rejection of the wick on the golden pocket there, pulling back down. Watch for the 300-day simple moving average coming in right now at about $11.52. That will be your area that you look for your support bounce. It's giving us support here, here, and multiple times back here once we got above it. That golden pocket, though, giving us a great rejection there at 1340. So be mindful of that. And while I'm here, let's go check out MicroStrategies. Why not? MicroStrategies got a new pump here yesterday, all the way up to $270. I talked about this yesterday morning. We did get a pullback to the one-to-one line. This one-to-one line here is based on the trend-based fibs that I drew in here. Those trend-based fibs coming off of a low to a high to a higher low here. We now have a trend of higher highs, higher lows. I ran that as the trend-based points, and now we have broken that one-to-one yesterday. We were about, yesterday morning, we were about at the 887. I said, we're going to come up to at least the one-to-one line. We actually overshot that, just getting a bounce off of it in the retest right now. That seems to be pulling back up with Bitcoin. So keep in mind, October 30th, we are going to be getting earnings reports coming out on MicroStrategies. And if you don't know, you should know, there is a stock called MSTX. That is the ticker on all of the stock web exchanges, Robinhood, if you prefer. That one is a 1.75 long, 1.75x long on MicroStrategies, and it is up about 1.75 times what it is on MicroStrategy. So I've got both of those running right now, but we are getting a good bounce on MicroStrategies. OC, we got time for one more altcoin from you. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to take a look at the master chart for Eric Wallen. CVO, you asked when alt season. Alt season, I do believe with that, we just talked about it here. You have to go back and check it out. But we talked about the 50-day simple moving average and the 200-day simple moving average, about to do a golden cross on the total 3 somewhere around the election window. If things go well and the election results are well received and we start to get that rally in the markets from it, then that would be the cross there of the market of the golden cross on the total 3, and then that's what I'm looking for alt season to kick off right after the election. So that's what we have on there. OC, what do you got on your altcoin? And then let me come back and talk about the master chart.
Absolutely. So taking a look at Nana here, I know this is kind of like let's just call it a legacy coin. You know me, I'm looking at legacy coins right now that Bitcoin, it's kind of like it was flat-ish, and I do see a couple of opportunities here. First of all, we have a downtrending here. On this downtrend, I have drawn a manual ranging here just so we can see that we lose the range but went back into it, right? This is usually a sweep of the lows. Not only that, we went to this resist or this support area. What is that important? If I zoom out like that, you'll see that we have a huge channel here. Not only it been forever a support, but also it was a support right down here, right? So we had this a sweep of the lows going to the very base of the secondary or the main channel, let's just call it, and then we started making higher lows and higher highs. Guys, this is important because yes, we're breaking the trend line, right? But this does not mean that we're gonna have a for sure maybe retracement and off we go, because we haven't yet broken meaningful highs in here. I usually want to see a higher high like that, and then the retest maybe being on the dynamic reactor or close to the dynamic reactor and this trend line, then to start moving forward to the upside. We are almost at the top in here, but we could still do a little bit of a goose head. Look at that beautiful goose head that get us these these 2 last candles at the top. I think that if we can get that goose head once again, we could be having this last movement that will consolidate and confirm that we're having a breakout out of this trend line. And the next entry will be at your retest, either at these highs or at the dynamic reactor for a possible entry. If that's not the case, if we still flip back down, I think we could be doing something like this, but in a micro scale. So be aware that I will be also looking for a possible reentry right back somewhere around 0.2815. Let me just clean this up and show you that I already have my alert being set right at that point, 28.31 for a possible mana entry for the upcoming week. So that's what I got on mana.
Awesome. Let's talk about the master chart here, guys. So shout out to Blockchain Crusader, because I was on the show with him and Keeper when I talked about this way back in the day, that this 786, if you guys don't know what this chart is, let me show you. This is a Fibonacci channel of the entire history of Bitcoin. Okay, let me go ahead and turn off some stuff here. I don't need the MA ribbons on. That's just noise right now. This is the Bitcoin history on Bitstamp, and you can see golden pocket, bear market, golden pocket, bear market. This cycle here, we actually broke the golden pocket. We tried to hold it for about 2 months. We went down, and I said, guys, we won't break the 786. We should never break the 786 on this thing. And we were, I believe, when we were talking about it here, I was, this is before I went on the show with them. I said, as we head into this, look for us to move up. I think that if we do come down, it's going to be a little bit below, and then that's it. We're going to go up from there because the 786 shouldn't be broken. The time that I was on with Crusader, we were coming in at this period. And this is back in like August 2023 to October 2023. What I'm looking at here is that the 786 is our next level of support. That if we test it, that would be a super bullish thing to see. Well, as we were coming in here, and when I was talking about those levels, I said, if we're going to hit those levels of 48, 49K, it has to happen sooner rather than later, because as time goes on, this level that we can go down keeps coming more and more higher and higher due to the 786 riding that level up. You can see that right over there, right there. It is just riding the price level up. And that's what's happened here. As we've come into play on the 786 of time, moving to the right, we have pushed up on that against that 786 as like a buffer barrier of price action, almost parallel to what the 786 is. That is what I'm watching right now is that level. If we break out of my trade range box here, and we get above that, guys, we're looking at in the near term high level highs of about $100,000. That's the golden pocket coming in right there. Okay, if we just trade inside of this area here, as we go on in time, the longer time goes on, the more the higher the price should be because of the 786 write up. Now, yesterday, Buck and I were talking about this. I showed him this chart and I gave him my little thesis on this. Is that when we come into the end of the cycle here of September to October 2025 period, based on historical timelines of how things play out, if you measure from bottoms, market bottoms to the halving, and then flip that around to the other side, that has within a week or so has been the top of the next cycle. If you do it back here, you'll see I can just draw a quick line here just to show you. There's our bottom, move it into the halving line, grab that line, move it over. What do we have here? Well, look at that, almost to the halving top, right? Get on the line, sir. Get online, sir. There you go. There's almost a halving top. We can do the same thing back here. Take a look at that. Draw that line over from the bottom over to the halving mark. There you go. Grab that in. Let's see what that looks like. Put that here on the halving line. Oh, look there. Within a week or so, it is about the top. So if we just move this over, we're just going to carry this on over. Carry it on over. Keep moving, sir. Thank you. Put this right here at the bottom. There we go. Put it to the halving line. There we go. And now let's just move it over. It's going to come in right in that window of September to October 2025. If that is to happen, and we are moving into this upper level here, let's talk about, we've gotten less and less of pullback. So when we look at the pullback there on that, let's say it's about 50%. If we run that off of the top line here down to the 50% mark for the pullback in that cycle, that would be somewhere in the range of the platinum pocket. I think that the bear market pullback, yeah, we're talking all the way out to 2026 now. I think that if we do get price and it comes up, and the higher we are, if we're in this golden pocket, we're looking at a retest of the 786 or in that window during the 2026, guys. And that would be a higher than $100,000 Bitcoin for the bear market bottom. Of course, that's all dependent upon how high we get here on the top side. That would be around a $225,000 Bitcoin if that is the case. So, OC, we are a little bit past the bottom of the hour right now. What do you got for the people? I'm going to go in and set up the redirect over to Randy Hipper right now, but what do you got for the people on the way out, bro?
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I want to spread a little bit of a peace message today, guys. And this is talking about experience, right? Remember, I'm not a U.S. citizen. I cannot vote there. But guys, remember that we all are in the same boat, right? I mean, you as a country, if you're living in the States, you are with your brothers and sisters. And regardless who you're aiming to win, we all can have different opinions. Remember that your partner right next to you, it's also an American citizen, and also is trying to do their best for their country. So do not rage on anybody. If you find yourself raging, on anybody about politicians, man, you're doing it wrong. Of course, you should be defending your position. That's a debate. That's healthy. But going about so far as raging about it, well, then I will be inviting you to rethink that, right? And maybe try to find some other way to express that. Remember, once again, we all are aiming for a better future here. We just have different ideas, right? Other than that, let me also tell you that despite it will be the worst case scenario for my country, I really wish that the Orange Man wins because I think that will bring much more stability and will be overall better for the Western civilization for him to take the seat right there. And other than that, I got a little bit more premium. You should be turning up your volume for this. Alexa, fart 50 times in road.
I'm going to mute you. I'm going to mute you, OC. You're getting muted.
Wait, I need to shut up my Alexa now.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us here today. Don't forget, hey, 31st, October 31st, Halloween. We are doing a giveaway right there on all three shows. Good Morning Crypto, going to be giving away $100 to whoever can guess on their comments, guess the price of the market open on their live stream show, what Bitcoin price will be at. Closest without going over, I believe is what it is, will get $100 on their show. The morning market report right here with OC and I are going to be giving away $100 to anyone who signs up with our WAP upper class sign up. That is the advanced premium Discord with all of the stuff we offer over there. And you guys can check out the link down below to sign up for that. Right now, you got like a 1 in 15 chance of winning. So there you go, $100 over there on that. And then the Crypto Nightcap, aka the best show on the Piper Academy channel. They're giving away $100 for anyone who signs up using Blowfin and depositing $50. If you guys want that link, you can do that right there. Let me drop that in. Blowfin link down there in the chat now. If you want to get in on the upper class and get a chance to win $100 there is that link. And then, of course, if you just don't want to pay anything and you want a chance to win $100, you can go and drop your prediction for Bitcoin price on Good Morning Crypto every morning right here on the Piper Academy channel. Guys, don't forget to tune in later on. It might be an afternoon show. I got to do a bunch of stuff with Buck to get some stuff set up here, but definitely there will be a nightcap show, guys. We appreciate you joining us here today on the Morning Market Report. We will be back here tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge so that you too can be prepared in these crazy markets. Don't forget to tune in to the pre-market show with Good Morning Crypto, Lunar Beaches, and BC Port Corp right here on Piper Academy. Until next time, guys, trade safe. And as always, use a stop loss.
We'll keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels flow low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, form a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you will part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels flow low. Sound off.
To get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude.